be surprised. Doesn't live doesn't mean you're alive. Oh, to live doesn't mean you're alive. To live doesn't mean you're alive. To live doesn't mean you're alive.
Yo guys, welcome to Frontline Young Minds, the podcast where we discuss topics surrounding music and mental health. Welcome to episode 1, Music and Me, where we're going to focus in on young people's relationship with music, why it matters to them, why they like to create it, and what they want from music.
Frontline Young Minds.
So essentially, according to the book of Samuel, you guys don't need to know about the Bible, but basically, in the book of Samuel, evil spirit from the Lord plagued King Saul. And this made him agitated, fearful of persecution, and he was just overall just going through it. So because music was supposed to have a therapeutic effect, he basically used to get somebody called David, who was like a warrior, but he knew how to play the lyre. I don't know if you know the lyre is like kind of like a violin, is it violin? Harp, yeah. So he basically, because he was renowned for basically being the best lyre player of the whole land, and he would come in and literally in front of the throne play this in front of King Saul, and apparently he would just be really distressed and he would just chill and relax. And essentially the interpretation behind the story is that King Saul had depression, and he would get David to come and play the music to kind of soothe his depression and to kind of help him through it. So that essentially leads to my next question. What do you think the part music plays in mental health? In terms of does it help with assisting it? Do you think it can make it worse sometimes if we're exposed to certain things? Just general conversation here. What do you think music does in regards to people's mental health? And obviously with young people in particular.
I'd say it can help. It can be a form of escapism, whether you make it or listen to it. But at the same time, I feel like if you're kind of shrouded by negative feelings a lot, and then you just listen to a lot of negative, sad music, it can be kind of echo chambers, can trap you within that thing. I know a lot of people that maybe they went through a hard time, then all they listen to is emo American rappers like Juice WRLD, Tentacion, then they can't get out of that headspace. So it can be a tool and it can be a weapon at the same time, in my opinion.
That's a good point.
I totally agree with Tendo. I grew up in that situation. So again, being isolated growing up, the kind of artists I was listening to, I literally only just started listening to R&B and love songs 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So because of the things I was experiencing, I wouldn't listen to lovey-dovey songs. It was a lot of hard things, depressed songs. And I think it's not that it helped to keep me in that place, but when no one else was listening to me, I felt like the music was listening to me. The music felt how I felt. It was relatable, and I kind of identified with that. And yeah, especially when I tried to have conversations about my feelings with people in my life or adults in my life that weren't hearing me, and I'd shut down. When I retreat to my room or my quiet space and my headphones, it's those kind of dark, sad, depressing music that I'm listening to. And I guess psychology-wise, yes, it was aiding those feelings, but it also was a
detriment.
And it's like a comfort blanket. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a physical one, but it was something that I had to lean on. But now that life has changed and things have expanded, and I'm listening to love songs and I'm listening to all ranges of music, I can see how back then I was in such a state because of the kind of music I was listening to, and because I wasn't open or willing to hear more upbeat or happier tones.
That makes sense. What about you guys? What do you feel about just the music plays in mental health, just in general? Especially because for example, I feel in this day and age and the generation we're growing up, especially for just young people, the music we grew up listening to compared to the music they're now listening to is very, very different. In terms of I feel there's not enough soul, and I feel especially the content as well. So do you feel obviously because of this they're gonna grow up essentially maybe different to us because again, we grew up in like the 2000s, so that was 50 Cent, that was, you know, R&B was still popular to an extent, whereas now it's like if you're growing up and you're 13, what are you really listening to in your airwaves? Drill, trap. You know what I'm trying to say? So what do you guys think about that? Just to express on that.
I'm not sure. I think for me, obviously I agree with these guys what they're saying in terms of the sense that obviously too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
Yeah.
In the sense that if the music's helping you with your feelings, if you're feeling sad, it's like it can get to a point where it does become a detriment. Right? But I think an important factor that's kind of being overlooked now is that we're kind of in the stage with the industry, at least, where there's not really that much emphasis on individuality in terms of sound. If you look back in the days like the 2000s and that, everyone was really pushing to make their own sound, to be themselves, you know. And that's what was marketable back then. Whereas now I feel like you don't see that much of a case now, especially with like, I guess, things like trap music and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the fault of the artists, it's just more that's what's being demanded by them, by the labels, by the sound, because that's what's producing the money. And I think where I'm going with this is more that this is actually affecting the consumers in terms of that's what's making these consumers, the people who are listening to this music, they feel a way about these music that's being played or that's being made, but that music's not genuine. I feel like in this day and age, at least.
100%, I agree.
So it's a bit tricky, I would say. But yeah.
To be honest, I think it plays a big part in mental health. But also it's a reflection of your mental already. So everything that's being put out is already been internalized. It's just an expression of it. So it's already gonna exist, but it's just about whether this music is contributing to the furthering that mental state or if it's helping it. And obviously it's just about balance, you know. Like for instance, like you was mentioning Dave, like he could say the same things that he was saying probably on a drill beat in a completely different way, and it might be like someone might take it a completely different way, but maybe the way that he's painting it in a story, it might come across to the consumer in a way that's not like, they're not taking it in such a direct, violent way. But I know, like, we all know, like, all the drill, there's a lot of drill that's coming out right now that's very violent. And obviously, we're youths that grew up in areas that this happens. So we know it's just an expression. We know they're just trying to make music and trying to stay busy and trying to put their pain in the music. But at the same time, they could even themselves sometimes be stuck in a thing of like, do you know what I'm saying? Like that could be contributed to themselves. Like if you're only talking about stabbing man up, killing, obviously you can get to a point where that could mess up your mental, but at the same time, music's a release, so like it could be therapy to them as well. So like, I don't know, man. It's an individual case for everyone. Like consumer, creator. Like there's loads of different cases. Like I said before, like music is so vast. So like it just spans a wide, but it definitely does play a part, I think, mental health.
What I found interesting about what you were saying about like the rise of trap music, I feel like there's kind of a lack of creativity in like mainstream music, like what you were saying, people starting to sound like each other more. Like in 90s, 2000s, it was more like, cool, you might have topics that everybody talks about, like love or money or whatever, but like there was a creative way of going about that. The producers were being more creative. Like it's even evident in the fact that so much of today's music is sampled from the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
But like I feel like music needs to get back to being creative and having something. Like when we look back at the 2020s, what are we really gonna say like right now?
What was our like?
I think that's from social media as well. Like social media contributes bare to that thing of just like, you see one thing go viral, and it's just a quick, easy copy and paste.
Yeah. So it's more like the way music is consumed through like.
The thing was it's just a lack of incentive.
You're not rewarded as much.
Yeah.
You hear like someone like ODB, and you're not like, I want to sound like ODB. Like back in the day, let's say you was in the 90s, oh bro, this guy sounds mad. Like now I want to find my voice. Like, I want to find my style now and see like what that is, instead of just like, I hear Roddy Ricch and I'm like, oh yeah, let me slap some auto-tune and do the same thing like as him, like that's
same
how it is,
cadence, same
Yeah. Like,
so do you feel like, especially the way music is like, it's kind of killing like young people's opportunity to kind of be unique and to kind of be diverse and to kind of explore, like
it's a mix.
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like if the professionals, the people that you're listening to on a daily basis, if they're not doing it, why should you do it?
Yeah.
And the people that you listen to as artists, these guys are leading by example.
Yeah.
But in saying that as well, they're not. The main case is like they're not really being genuine themselves because they don't have the freedom to do that, because these are obviously signed artists that rely on getting paid constantly.
Labels.
So they can't really have that risk of being individual for oneself.
Like we're seeing kind of this rise of like independent artists and like them taking it into their own hands. So like that's why we're seeing like, especially in the UK now, you're just seeing mad like genre bending and like kind of just new styles of music, because it's like you see what's happening in the mainstream on one side, and then there's people that follow that, but there's also a whole another wave of people that are like, nah, I don't want to be a part of that, I want to do my own thing, and that's leading to like a kind of a new thing. So I feel like there will be a balance. It's kind of coming up, like.
I think the industry's definitely changed, especially from the 90s. There was an element of exclusivity, and I don't think it was always a good thing because certain artists didn't get that exposure. But what it did do was filter out a lot of voices and noise that was in a lot of genres. And I think now, because of how we create music or how we produce, like what you guys have said, like you can just put something on YouTube and if it blows, it blows. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. If you've got the money, you can pay for the ads. And I think back then we kind of knew, you know, if something came from this specific studio or producer, we were excited because we knew it was going to sound good, or they would only work with, you know, material that was a certain way inclined. Now it's like you're almost overstimulated with all of the music and like ways to release music out there as well.
okay.
Would you say you prefer music from that era then?
Not the music from that era, but there is a certain, to everything in life, there's a certain etiquette. And I think back then in the industry, there was a certain etiquette, and there was a, not to sound cliche, but there was a certain honor to music, and you respected artistry. Now it's so stripped back, and the door is so easily accessible that there isn't that level of etiquette anymore.
There's no like barriers to entry.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, you would have, you know, if you're an artist, like, for example, so all of the Twitter beefs and wars between older artists, for example, like the female rappers, I won't name names right now, but, you know, there's people that we class as legends in the rap game as females, and you have other females that are only just coming up, and instead of them having that etiquette that you would have back in the day, supporting them or talking about album sales or paying for that feature, they're now taken to Twitter to tear them down, or they're dogging them out in an interview hoping that gets them streams and views. And that's the etiquette I'm talking about. In life, with everything, there is a certain structure of how things work, and there's certain people in the industry now where I feel like they're trying to run before they can crawl.
I agree with what you're saying. I think that's interesting as well about you talking about bringing other artists down, because I'd say like controversy seems to really sell more than ever. Like before, controversy would sell in the respect that like controversial artists,
right,
like they'll do something controversial and that's what makes them talked about. But now it's like the controversy comes from drama between artists,
right,
rather than like say somebody like Michael Jackson or like Andre 3000. Their controversy came from the fact that they were just an interesting character.
Yes.
Like Marmite, like you love or hate them.
Yes.
But now it's like people, like for example in the UK scene, if you look at maybe like 2020, the two biggest artists was kind of like probably Central C and Digga D.
Yeah.
And then, in my opinion, obviously they're good artists, but one of the reasons they were so big is because they hated each other.
Right.
Yeah.
There was so much that drama around it.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Well, we need to cut this short quickly because we're gonna literally that's going to lead us to our next topic. But we're actually going to get young people's opinions on this topic. So we're going to go outside right now, go speak to them, and we're going to find out what they think. All right, right now we're going to speak to 3 young people, talented people. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So when you're ready.
I'm Shania.
Do you want to say your age as well? If you...
Okay, so I'm 13.
I'm Indira, I'm 14.
I'm Nathaniel, I'm 14.
Oh, sweet. Okay, then. I asked everyone this. What is their favourite... Who's their favourite artist?
So Cat Burns, and then A1 and J1.
Okay.
Rihanna.
I like Lil TJ and Pop Smoke.
Sweet, sweet. And again, I'm going to ask this. So, when did you realise you first wanted to do music? Was there like a particular period in your life where you were like, yeah?
So I was like very young and I didn't have a phone, so I used to get bored in my room. I had a notebook, so I used to like write on it and stuff. And then my mum took it away for like 2 years and she lost it in my house. And then I eventually got it back and then I just like started again.
Okay, sweet. What you should know?
So when I was 2, I got put into foster care, and then because like my mum was doing the most with drugs and stuff, so then I got adopted when I was 4.5, and then just started again, new life. It's cool.
Sweet. What about you?
Not really, I've always done music, like, just always liked it.
Okay, so there's no particular, just from young, you've always loved music?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Do you guys think there's like particular artists that influence the type of music you make?
No. I just do whatever I want.
That's a good way to go.
Make whatever I want to make.
Okay.
It depends upon how I'm feeling. Like, sometimes it'll be like fast and like fun and stuff, but then sometimes it can get like a bit deep.
Slow. Okay, so you're saying it depends on like literally your emotions, how you're feeling on the day. Okay, that makes sense. So what is it exactly you guys do at Lewisham Music? Like the sessions you have here?
So we basically just write music, like songs or whatever. Like if you're a singer, write a song and then sing it. And then we perform it, then we like get feedback on whatever, and then we go around the group saying, what did you like about this song? And how do you think you could like impact on that? So, and we also do collaborations, like if you wanna like join or merge 2 songs together or like make something together, and that's what we do.
Okay, that sounds fun. So do you feel like you gain a lot from these sessions, like just maybe in terms of confidence or just being able to work with people, or even just kind of learn about new styles and kind of other people's way of making music? Do you feel like these sessions help?
Yeah, I think they help because it's like a time dedicated to just like write. So, like, you can like go by whatever you want to do, like go whatever genre and learn like, about it, and then you can also hear like, what other people do and you could be inspired by them as well.
Do you have anything to say on that? Or do you agree with him?
I think they gave us a lot of support, like with the creative process, and they help us develop our ideas. Why are you laughing?
Fair enough. Nah, you can laugh. You can enjoy it. It's supposed to be fun. Okay, then. So just a kind of more broader question. Do you feel like music influences people's actions? Like certain type of music you may listen to, like may influence you to do or maybe do a certain action?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you hear like a load of swearing, then you're going to swear, aren't you? What?
That actually makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
But also, like, when you hear about, like, knife crime and all the rest of it, sometimes it is actually influenced by the songs that people write. Like, for example, if you're gonna write about, I don't know, killing someone and then laughing at their mum at their funeral, then that is going to make people think, okay, that's fine, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna laugh at their mum when they die at their funeral.
It normalizes it.
Exactly. And then people are gonna think it's alright. And then when the police hear that song, you're not gonna be laughing at their mum anymore, are you? So
yeah, do you think there should be like more control around violent music than to stop people committing violence, or not? You think people should be free to express express anything through music, or do you feel like we should restrict it more?
I feel like it should be restricted because like some of the stuff they say like drill and stuff, it's just too much. But then at the same time, they can't really stop it because by them trying to stop it, it's just gonna make the people want to like do it more and get it like more promoted different ways.
Fair enough. Do you feel like there's like people like behind the scenes kind of pushing that type of music to you young people to kind of influence you like in a negative way?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting.
When you hear other people doing stuff, then like especially because we're young as well, you're likely to just do what they're doing. Like you watch someone, it's like when you're a baby and you're learning how to speak. You hear someone say your name, for example, and then you learn your name through that. So you're gonna learn from other people.
You're saying like young people are more impressionable to like this type of stuff.
Yeah. And vulnerable as well.
Oh, I like the word vulnerable. I like that a lot.
It describes me too much.
Fair enough, but just in terms of like the way we're talking about it, the points we're talking, I think that's the perfect word. Just a bit more on that. So, do you feel like drill causes like violence within youth, within young people nowadays? Do you feel like that's like you can actually be like, nah, drill, that's one of the core problems?
Yeah, because like the way they promote it, in like their videos, it looks like they're all having fun. So a younger person's gonna see that and they're gonna be like, oh, I wanna be like this person. That's why they have like money and stuff, and they see like their like jewelry in like their videos. And they're gonna be like, oh, if I want this, then I'm gonna have to do it this way. But in reality, there's like so many other ways they could do it.
No, I don't think that people having fun in videos is the issue. I think the issue is that artists get big and then they forget that people actually listen to them. And they just do what they want to do. That you've got to remember that you've got a fan base, you've got people listening to you.
People that you're influencing type of.
Yeah.
So
go on.
No, go on.
I was gonna say, I think it's the other way around. Like, I think violence is influencing the music because people are writing about. It could even just be lies, to be honest. But people are writing about things that have actually happened, and well, some people just write it because they think it's cool, blah blah blah. But some things actually happen. So I think sometimes it's the other way around. Okay,
so do you feel like it's not necessarily the music, but it's the person creating the music? It's more their responsibility to make sure that, they're not perpetrating or like promoting the wrong things?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
So just to be clear, like you mean like in some circumstances it's the violence influencing the music rather than the music influencing the violence?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think that makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah, but like still, couldn't you just write about overcoming it and like what you want to do in the future?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There's positive ways you could channel that energy, I guess.
But then if someone like switches up halfway through, so say like for the first half of their career they're talking about like doing all crimes and stuff, and then the second half they're talking about like being a good person or whatever. They could change, but people are gonna think that what they were saying in the first place wasn't even true, and they're not really gonna believe them from there on because they don't know what's true and what's not.
You could possibly argue they'll lose their fan base as well,
and the authenticity as well.
If you got fans from doing one thing, then you switch it up and start doing something else, you can easily lose your fan base.
Fair enough. All right, we're gonna wrap this up quickly, but just one final question: what does music mean to each one of you? Like, what's it done in your lives? And I want to answer from each one as well, so don't be moving shy.
Music to me, it's like home, because if everyone's annoying me, then I can just listen to music. Like, it's not a person. It can't get on my nerves.
I like that. I like that one still.
Okay.
Come on,
guys. Music means a lot because, like, I'm not someone that, if someone asks me that if I'm okay, I don't look okay, so don't ask me that question. Whereas when you're writing stuff down, no one's like bothering you. You're literally in your own zone. So you can write down, if you want to write about the weirdest things in the world, like aliens or whatever, you can write about aliens. No one's judging you. So it's different between like telling people what's happened, what's going on, because you can write it in different ways. Big up the metaphors.
What about you, Nathaniel?
I feel like it's like a good way of like expression without like making it big. So you say like something's going on in your life and you don't want to talk about it, but you do it at the same time.
Yeah.
If you like write it down in lyrics, you could like be talking about something that's happening in your life, but you could like do it in a way that you can hide it behind the lyrics, so you still like getting it off your chest, but it's not like making it for everyone to like get involved in your business.
Okay, I like that. Just one more question, sorry, before this goes on my mind. Do you feel like there needs to be like more projects / sessions, like for example, like young lyricists, just for young people to come and like kind of just express themselves? Like, do you feel like that's good for their mental health?
Yeah, because like say you can't at home, you're in like a really busy environment and like everyone's doing something all the time. It's kind of hard to find time to do all of that because you might have other things to do, like say you got school homework, then you have to go pick up your little brother from school, whatever. It's important that we find time to actually do this kind of stuff. So it's easier when you actually have like a scheduled time where you're doing something. For example,
and plus there's a place like here as
exactly,
well. Yeah.
and you have other people to relate to, you have other people to like aspire from and all of that. So yeah, I think it's important.
Okay, any more comments, you guys?
Yeah, you can make new friends, you can like work together, you meet other people. Because if I'm sitting at school, right, and I'm writing down lyrics at the back of the classroom, I'm looking really weird, aren't I?
Like, what's this equation? Yeah.
But when I'm here, there's other people doing the same thing.
You blend in.
You all get on together, you all do it together.
Oh no, I like that. I think that's a great way to end it. Well, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you guys just adding your 2 pence. I'll let you guys get onto your session.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
I think the biggest thing for me is more so there's like a way to keep records of feelings, memories, people I'm around.
Yeah, I'd agree that it's kind of like a reflection of how you feel consciously and subconsciously. And also I feel like, for me, like I see music as kind of like the soundtracks to my life. Like maybe that's main character syndrome.
For me, music's always been an escapism, a lifeline. So growing up, I grew up really confined and lonely and alone, and I would never leave the house without headphones. If my headphones broke, I would panic and go and buy new ones. And when I was in a world of music, I listened to a different range of artists: rap, emo, grime, indie, and all of those evoke different emotions in me. And I just felt like that was my safe place. It was where I learned to articulate myself through hearing other artists express themselves. Like Linkin Park, when I was growing up, they said a lot of what I couldn't say out loud, but I heard it in their songs, and the way they made me feel, I felt like, I wasn't alone. I was taken on a journey where I was able to find myself as well, but through others' music, and that made me fall in love with music and want to know more.
Frontline, young lads.
So we have Andy here with us, and Andy is from Vocalize, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, it's one of the things I do, yeah.
Yeah, so you can tell us generally what you do.
I'm a songwriter, producer. I do a bit of singing, do vocal arrangement, work in a few schools, write a load of K-pop, help develop young artists.
That's amazing. So just to do with this project in particular, what is it exactly you do with the young people here?
So I run the the LVC, which is Lewisham Vocal Collective. Started back in June. We had a sort of open day. We invited quite a few young people from 15 to about 20 to come along. And the idea is to develop a fairly high-level vocal collective, sort of focusing on harmonies, singing the sort of music they love to sing, and also writing their own music for the group as well, so original stuff. And also it incorporates, we've got 3 or 4 really superb rappers as well.
Oh, that's amazing. So you've got quite a cohort of just talented youngsters. Yeah. That's amazing. So obviously you talk about like songwriting and just producing music. We're talking in regards to music and mental health within young people. So do you feel like these sessions and just even like songwriting and just creating music in general, do you feel like that goes a long way to kind of help, not necessarily solve, but just kind of help with young people and mental health?
It certainly does. I mean, I've seen some amazing transformations in people's mental health over the years, just through schoolwork or working professionally. I've had people that have been broken literally coming into the studio within 3 or 4 years' time, through doing regular studio sessions. You know, it's a very delicate process. You got to make a safe space for them where they can express themselves and they feel comfortable, and then they start to open up. And it's very difficult to kind of tell when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, when I was younger, I used to maybe, you know, my enthusiasm, I would maybe push a bit too hard and try and get over enthusiastic. And, you know, whereas I've learned as I've got older is that they'll do it when they're ready to do it. But I think, being able to write lyrics about yourself, creating your own music, expressing how you feel is a huge part of the work that I do.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, just talking about you personally, what does music mean to you? What is it played in? What's the part it's played in your life?
It's everything. I am music. That's pretty much it. I mean,
amazing.
You know, you hollow it out, there's not much left. I mean, I love my family, I love my kids, but my wife, but, you know, it's like, and I think it drives my family mad because it is like everything. So it's since I was 5, that's all I remember. I used to sort of get the, talk about how old I am, he was a carpet sweeper. Pretending it was a microphone. I used to have, when I had hair, I would like towel on my head pretending to be somebody. And my mum used to shine a torch at me. And I think probably, and then like she said that she put the washing machine on and I'd be by the side like picking up the rhythms of the washing machine.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, you know, and I'm from Cornwall, so it's the heritage down there is rich in vocals. I used to play in a brass band, so it's like I had a very classical upbringing.
Yeah.
But when I was let loose, I mean, this is the thing, I suppose this is why I love the work I do, because I had nobody until I was about in my early 20s. I was sort of rattling around, quite talented, could write, could sing, but I didn't really know what to do. I didn't have somebody to go, listen, you should be like focusing on this. So I suppose that's why I've kind of like enjoyed this role, because I kind of knew what I needed.
Yeah.
And also mental health wise as well. I mean, back then, nobody spoke about it.
Yeah.
And literally, I've suffered with anxiety my whole life. Not ashamed of it at all. And actually, it helps hugely. And actually, I can see it in the young people that I work with. I can feel it when they come in the room. You know? And it's multiplied. You know, like every year, there's more and more children that are suffering with it.
So it's clearly like this is a crisis that we need to solve.
I think so. And I mean, the sad thing is that schools haven't got the framework anymore to deal with it. I've had about 6 conversations like this today about just literally at school today, and you just think, you know, it needs to be. So that's why these studio spaces are great, because they can come in and they can have those conversations during a creative session.
Yeah, I've had so many questions to ask you, but you've literally just answered it and it's been so perfect. So I'm going to touch like on a personal note. And I've been asking people this question everywhere I go. So if you had one song, you could be sad, upset, something's happened in your day, you're just in a bad mood. If you have this one song that makes you happy, what song would you play? And for example, I've been telling people this. So my song is, do you know the old Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie? The one with Gene Wilder?
Yeah.
So Pure Imagination, you know the song? Yeah.
Beautiful song.
That's my song. Like,
song, yeah.
it just, it's weird to say, but when I close my eyes and I listen to it, it just transforms me like to somewhere where I just feel I'm just at peace and just genuinely content with myself. Yeah. So is there any song like that or any piece of music that kind of does that for you?
It's difficult.
It's hard, yeah.
It's hard. You know, I mean, I'm a huge Joni Mitchell fan, and she, for me, is the greatest songwriter, in my opinion. So I'm just trying to think. There's a song that she wrote called "A Case of You," which is about. Actually, it's not a very uplifting thing, but it's about she was the first person to write an album about one breakup of one relationship. Oh, wow. And this song, "Case of You," is likening this person to, if I drink a case of you, I'll still be on my feet. So she's still in love with him, but he's not in love with her. So it's that kind of, but it's got a kind of uplifting, melancholic thing to it. So so if you read the lyric, you'd be like, what are you talking about? But just the way she sings it, it's got that I love that kind of bittersweet pop. And that sometimes can take me away. Yeah, no, that's amazing. I definitely need to check that out. What's the name again? Case of You, Joni Mitchell. The album's called Blue. Blue. Yeah, it's like the first sort of autobiographical thing. When she first finished it, she played it to all her friends who were all famous songwriters, and they went, "You can't release this because it's too. Nobody'd ever done that." So they said it's like turning your skin inside out, and that's kind of what she was doing. Yeah, because she's just exposing it. All that stuff that's come afterwards, Kate Bush, it's all gone back to her. Wow, so she's the originator. For me, yeah, she's amazing. That's amazing. Every young songwriter I work with, I'm serious, I always go, Joni Mitchell, you need to, it's like a pilgrimage back to, for me. No,
That's great. Again, there was so much I wanted to ask you, but you've literally just asked them. So amazing. So finally, I would say, do you feel like we need more of these projects, more of these sessions for young people, in order for them to kind of just break out of like the stigma of society, any mental health problems they have, anxiety? Do you feel like this goes a long way?
Yeah, absolutely. It's crucial. Yeah. The more the better. You can't get enough of it because they love it, and these are the moments that they remember when you're young.
100%, yeah.
It's the little moments, and it's the little could make that little change in them, and the little light switch has gone on. So yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Thank you so much for just taking the time to speak with us. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Music has inspired me to do so much. From a young age, I remember the first time I'd listened to a song that actually made me cry, and I had no idea what that was, and I think I was about 7 years old. So music has done so much for me before I've even known what it was actually doing to me. And music basically made me feel things. Music made me want to delve into emotions that I thought I'd gotten over. As you get older, as I've been getting older, and you just kind of like remember certain things from certain songs, or certain melodies make you remember certain things, or certain people, or certain scenarios and spaces. So it's inspired me to feel, to believe in what I believe, to like what I like, to love what I love. And yeah, so it's been very, very powerful, and it's very much continuously shifting how I feel, and to the point where I'm now playing certain songs because I know it's going to put me in a good mood to start my day.
Frontline, young lads.
Welcome to One-on-One. This is the part of the show where I speak to a young upcoming artist and we just find out more about them, find out about their music, why they make it. We just get to know them. So right now we're laughing because there's a piece of chicken that just flew across the table. I just thought we would mention that. Why not? But right now we have Akasha in the building.
Yes, what's good, bro?
Yes. I'm good. How are you, bro?
I'm blessed, man. I'm happy to be here.
That's amazing. So who is the artist Akasha? What's the meaning behind the name?
Wow, we're diving in straight.
Yeah, bro, we go straight in.
Well, the meaning of the name, it has like a few translations, but so obviously I'm half Indian actually. So I was looking up the origins of the name, and it translates to either ether, sky, space, and magic. So it has like in different cultures and languages, sometimes it can be interpreted differently, but I resonated with it. So
yeah, and I feel like especially just listening to your music, I think it's pinpoint, like it's so accurate in terms of the type of music you make, which we're actually gonna play later on. So how would you describe your sound right now? Like, and do you have like, not necessarily any intentions, but are you thinking to possibly like switch it up, or maybe go into different avenues? Right
now, I would say my sound is on a kind of wave of like, I have one part where it's like spacey, kind of ethereal, mixed with like trap elements, or maybe some drill elements. And then on another side, it's more like the kind of smooth, soul, jazzy, hip hop vibe. So right now, I feel like that's like the two sides of me that I incorporate in my music the most. But I'm definitely like always looking to kind of expand and like see where I can go, like vocally and even production wise as well.
And do you feel like, for example, your mental health and just your well-being, does that play a part in like the type of music you create or the type of stuff you talk about in your music?
No, definitely. Like I always try to put some sort of undertones of like messages, or maybe just some game, or like just like spiritual undertones that like even or just things that have helped me, or whether it's me painting my story, whether it's me trying to just express myself creatively, I try and lace that within the lines of every track that I do. whether it's like a turn up, fun, lit track, or it's like a deep track. Like, so yeah.
So what would you describe your influences like when you making music? And again, it doesn't have to be specific to like another artist. It could be a TV show, like you said before, and games and stuff.
Yeah. I can't lie, like my influences come from, they might not directly influence me musically, but it's the originality. So like people like JME, like Kai's just bare original.
Yeah.
Cause he just does his own thing. Like I like artists that do their own thing. They make their own lane. Like Denzel Curry. Like I just mess with him, and yeah. But then there's people like Kendrick who like, you know, they're undeniable. They have their own sound, and they have crazy conceptual albums that are critically acclaimed. So obviously, like deep in the artist's heart, like especially because I feel like I'm a lyricist at heart. So when you see an artist achieve something like that, there's something in you that's like, I can reach that as well in my own way. But yeah, that's one side of it.
How far do you want to take your music? That's a bit of a bold question.
The stars and past that. I'm trying to just go as far as I can with it. Literally, like you know, like I've seen, especially this year, my eyes have opened up. Like being around everyone, being around creatives, being around people who make music, clothes, art, like graphic design, visuals. It's like there's endless, infinite possibilities, and like especially seeing man from ends blow up and make it like that. So it's like now, not gonna lie, there's no doubt in my mind. Like whether it's before, it might have been, how am I gonna get here? Like it's possible, innit? So just yeah.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like your environment and where you've come from like influences your music, just in terms of like maybe the vocabulary you use? Like the music? Yeah.
Nah, defo, man. It's a blessing, car. Like we was able to grow up with culture. Like we was able to grow up with like see like the ups and downs, you know, the struggles that we went through with like, you know, like low income and like, you know, like some just there's so many intricate details that make you who you are, and like to be able to put that in music it's a blessing, you know what I'm saying? And it's also like extremely like I can relate to all of my peers from where we grew up, because no matter what type of music you make, there's always going to be a kind of universal understanding between us, just simply because of the fact that we've seen the same things, and you know what I'm saying, so then we feel the same things in some capacity as well.
Fair enough. And describe your come up to now. Like, how's it been?
Well, I mean, I still feel like I've just like dipped my feet in the water, not gonna lie. Like I feel like I've only just started, but I would say like I've just started doing a lot of more shows recently, trying to get get on stage. It's a great feeling being on stage. I've started diving into more like spoken word and poetry. That's actually kind of how I got like my most exposure, I guess you could say, online was through like a spoken word piece that I did, and yeah, that opened a lot of opportunities to me. It made me see like there's different worlds that you can tap into as a creative. You can't be like bound to just one thing, like, so I'm trying to just incorporate that within everything I do. But yeah, like I'm just trying to keep it stepping, keep it moving, really.
And what about advice to your younger self, like before you even started making music, but obviously you knew like this was something you wanted to do? Like, what's one thing you can tell the younger Jay? Like,
just if you're scared, just do it anyways. That's what I'll say. Like, just like when you feel the butterflies in your stomach, it's a good feeling. When you feel your heart beating, it's a good feeling. Just know, because you're doing something to push yourself out of the comfort zone, and that's the only way you can grow. Like, that's the only way you can really elevate yourself. So yeah.
And do you feel like on your journey you've had like enough support, enough opportunities, like in terms of like not even you creating them for yourself, but they're just being there, like just maybe different, I'm not just being different, like potential, like, I don't know, performances, or maybe different courses or different groups or different, I don't know, youth clubs, just something to kind of engage your
I feel that personally, for me, speaking for myself, I've had the good opportunities for what my journey required. Do you know what I mean? Like when I was in college, that was my first time performing. Like I forgot my lyrics and all that, but like I needed to experience that. So then next, like things like going uni, then that was my first time being in like a proper studio. I was like, okay, this is what this feels like, being with an engineer and stuff. First time downloading Logic Pro, getting so, and I've had the I feel like I've had all the things that I needed around me, to be honest, and the people around me as well.
Okay, so we're literally gonna move on to my lovely researcher Toni, who's actually found some opportunities, some accessible opportunities that you may be interested in. So I'm gonna give the floor to Toni so she can tell you what's out there for you.
Thanks for that, Sam. That was a great interview. I have some accessible pointers for you. So I found MIDI Music, which is based in South East London. They are a talent development charity. They champion excellent education programs. So they're there to work with young people, nurturing music for those that are vulnerable or disadvantaged. This is for young people aged between 11 and 30 years old. They offer something called the Seekers Program, which is their creative industries careers advice service. So through this, you can get a studio session for nominal booking fees and discounted engineers rates. You can have access to their industry contacts. You also have access to their rehearsal spaces, which they use for artists all around the UK as well. And there's also chances to have one-on-one sessions with a lot of their creative industry representatives as well. The second opportunity that I found, which would be great, is the ERIC platform. So the ERIC platform can be found at www.meeteric.com. And they're basically an award-winning career exploration platform designed for 16 to 25-year-olds who are interested in creative, media and entertainment industries. Their founders, Sam and May, they both believed that a lot of the resources that were previously out there were inaccessible and very corporate focused. So they created ERIC to shake things up and allow the new generation to find things at the touch of a button. MIDI Music can also be found through www.themidimusiccompany.co.uk. So either of those I think would be great opportunities for you and other young people out there.
Oh, sounds dope.
That sounds good. I think I'm gonna have to check it out myself as well.
For sure, man.
That's what Toni does. Thank you so much, Toni, for that information. Now we're gonna go to the creative showcase in which Jay Cash is gonna bless the mic alongside my co-host Tendo. Produced by the amazing Tora. Again, we're all young here, so again, this is going to be literally a showcase just to show you what us young people, what we can do with given the right support, the right time and the right push. So let's get it.
Yeah.
Bone in the game, moaning my name, holding my crown in the snow or the rain. Underneath the mistletoe, pulling for you. Got me cooking up a different flow, flipping though, hearing and I'm missing home. Get this feeling in my stomach when you hit my phone. All these scars from my body ain't from sticks and stones. In a concrete jungle full of bricks and phones. Irrits and keeping sticks and homes. They be plotting on your stack, where the money at? All the in the rave, where the honey's at. I wanna taste, baby, take me to your beehive. On the wave, catch a vibe by the seaside, be mine. Real girls on the decline. Flashbacks got me wishing I could rewind. These days I ain't smoking paper planes, but we could still take a flight, try make it rain. I know you hate the way I make you wait. You know I love it when you say my name. Just call my phone when you're home alone. Play a few slow jams, get you in the zone. We can keep it on the low, they don't need to know. Are you feeling me or no, girl, I need to know. I ain't tryna waste my time, should I leave or go? Cease to sow in this life, I'm just trying to grow. Found my feet on these beats, tryna find my flow. Through the highs and lows, tryna find my flow. Through the highs and lows, tryna find my flow. Through the highs and lows, through the highs and lows.
King Vision, we on Camelot. Not sorry for a flex, cause we ain't had a lot. For anything my way, nah, I ain't backing off. Nah, I ain't had the
keys, I had to crack the locks. Raised in a place, it was dangers and flat. So please don't try, put a cape on my back. Put pain in the clouds, let it rain on the track. Mount Rushmore, I gotta put my face on the map. Seen them vanish, now I'm blessed they wanna reappear. I take the plunge, tunnel vision, I don't see the fear. Keep the fake far away, I need the real in there. Stone face, no, I don't let them see it here. Space bound for this, in my jeans, no counterfeits. Alchemists, mixing up the punch, you can't counter this. Wait, I think I'm zoning in. Ex keep on phoning in. Had to find the boost, find the fuel and the petroleum. Plant the seeds into the dirt, there's a reason for the hurt. Negative energies that I convert into light bright. Let me see the sight, got the vision and the drive right. Let me get
Please keep us
safe,
Please keep us
healthy,
Please keep us
happy,
Please keep us
guided,
Please keep us
debt-free,
debt-free. Please keep us
stress-free,
stress-free. Please keep us
grounded,
Please keep us
together,
Please keep us
loved,
and please keep us
covered.